Hey guys, it's 10 Superpower, and welcome to my Let's Play of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. If you guys didn't see before, I uploaded a video showing that I have a Dazzle now. And I think it works pretty good. I'm pleased with the video quality. I like how the audio is recorded. For those who didn't know, because I made the video unlisted, I previously got another capture card. It was a diamond brand capture card, and it didn't work. Yeah. So, and that was pretty demotivating. I ended up thinking it wasn't really worth it because sticking a camera in front of a TV wasn't a very good That wasn't a very good way of making the videos, so I was demotivated for a good long while. I wanted to focus on school. And now I'm starting to get things together, so I got a Dazzle, hooked it up, liked how it worked, and I decided that for my next Let's Play I'd start doing Path of Radiance. And here's an FMV cutscene.
You had enough? Oh, yes.
You're up. About time.
So with that out of the way, yes, this is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Path of Radiance is the introduction of Ike, who would go on to become one of the fan favorite heroes, next to Marth, and I believe, oh no, yeah, I don't believe Roy and Ellie would ever became fan favorites, but I know Ike and Marth did. Funny thing, in Smash Brothers Brawl, when Ike was introduced as a playable character in the Smash Brothers series, I can't remember if it was the instruction booklet or the trophy description, but one of them said that Ike was so strong he could wield a two-handed sword with one hand. If once the battles start in this game, you will notice that's not actually accurate. Ike is wielding one-handed swords with one hand, and even then, there are legitimate fighting styles of swordplay where you would wield a one-handed sword with two hands. In fact, there's a character in this game who does that. So yeah, really they just wanted to use, I think it was just to justify how strong he was in the game, even though that really wasn't quite necessary. I don't have tutorials on. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, I won't be using tutorials because I already know how to play the game. Basically, Fire Emblem games all pretty much play the same way. They're turn-based. You move your characters around on a grid. Once you move your characters, if an enemy is within your attack range, you can choose to attack them, or you can choose to use an item, or you can choose to wait, which just ends the character's action. You can't pick them again, you can't move them. And this is a training battle against Boyd. It's not too bad. Obviously, it's pretty easy. It's just a training battle to get you used to the mechanics of the game. And that's the battle board, or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. But basically what it is it's a pop-up that shows up just before you start a battle. And it gives you one last opportunity to see the statistics of it. It'll let you see what's the percentage chance that you will hit your opponent, which is the hit number. You have MT, which stands for amount of damage dealt between both sides. Obviously for Ike it was 9, for Boyd it was 8. Meaning Ike would do 9 damage with each swing and Boyd would do 8. And then you have crit, which is the chance of a critical hit, which will do 3 times the amount of normal damage. And that's also a percentage chance. Of course you have HP, which is your health. And it's really all you have to worry about in battle. On harder, when you play this game on hard mode, and I believe there's a 4th difficulty if you beat the game on hard mode, I haven't done so, but on hard mode or harder for Americans, from Path of Radiance and Shadow Dragon going backwards, for hard mode or harder, if you have a hit chance of 80 even, you wouldn't want to risk it. Because I don't know for sure, but for some reason on the different difficulties, I find the RNG gets more and more merciless. Yeah, this is Grail, Ike's father. Ike in this game, Ike is a character is a mercenary. He is not a lord like every other Fire Emblem game has him. Has the other characters. Ike is a mercenary, so he is a soldier for hire. Grail here is his father. And Grail is the leader of the Grail mercenaries, which currently Ike is training to become a member of. But don't worry, this will only last one mission. In fact, I think it's pretty much over right now. But yeah. As you can see, this game also has RPG style level up systems. And how it works is that every time a unit kills an enemy, they get experience points. Yeah, for the most part in Fire Emblem games, when characters who are of a base class, as I'm calling it, when they kill an enemy, they usually get 25 to 30 experience points. And meaning that you can only... Yeah. It means that, of course, after you kill a few enemies, your character levels up. Of course, they have to survive through all the fights in order to do that. And another thing about Fire Emblem games is that they execute permadeath. So if any character dies, they are dead forever. I will be getting every character, and not a single one will be dying. And there's a reason why I'm doing this on normal mode, which I'll get into probably in another video. Yeah, so that was the prologue. Pretty short. all the videos are probably going to be of 1 or 2 chapters depending on the length, because this game can get pretty long. I can't remember what my end time was on my last clear, but it can get pretty long when you spend a lot of time strategizing and just trying to get everything together. So here in chapter 1, we have a town, a village. They're being plagued by bandits, and they want the guerrilla mercenaries to come in and kick the bandits out. Thus is the first mission that Ike goes on as part of the guerrilla mercenaries, and we're also introduced to 2 other characters here, Oscar and Titania. And I'll go more into them once that battle starts, because this game, not everybody can use the same weapons, not everybody is the same type of character. They have what's called classes. Ike's class is Ranger. I believe he is the only character in the Fire Emblem series to have the Ranger class. And I don't think there's anything inherently special about it. I think it's just another name for the typical protagonist character. Here Titania's going over the map mode, which you can use before starting, and it'll show you where your characters are going to start, where the enemies are going to start. Now, just as a way for you to sort of get an idea of how you should move and what you should watch out for. Yes, Ike is a ranger, and he uses swords. And the weapon types do matter for the most part. I'll get into that more, because they will hear actually before the battle starts. Boyd is a warrior. As a warrior, no, he's not warrior yet, he's fighter. As a fighter, Boyd has a high HP, he's got a lot of health. He's got high attack power, but very low defenses. So, he's basically supposed to be a tank in the way that Blissey is in Pokemon, if that makes any sense. Where he's not supposed to actually be good at taking hits, so much as he is just supposed to be good at lasting against them. Which isn't very good to begin with. Now, unfortunately, fighters also have a habit of having average to low skill, meaning that they don't have the highest chance of attacking all the time. And this is just showing that when you go over enemies on the field, you can see their movement range. And I don't show it here, but you can actually highlight them to make their range permanently visible for that turn, so you can have a good idea of who should go where. I usually do it with archers and mages. You'll see me do that a lot. If your characters, oh yeah, that's something I should get into. You saw that Ike got to attack twice there, and Boyd will not here. Attacking twice is based on your speed stat. Oh, yep, and Boyd, what there was a critical hit. I don't know what the percentage chance was offhand, but yeah, critical hit chances are usually very, very low. And for me to go get one right there in the first fight that Boyd has is incredibly rare. Critical hit animations are class specific, though I don't think you get any other fighters in this game. But yeah, they're class specific. And that was the fighter's critical hit. Your enemies can get critical hits on you as well, so it's important to watch for that. Usually if the number is, for me, if I see it's 15 or higher, I usually get cautious. I usually try to go for an enemy. I usually use a character with enough health to last one. Yes, here you can see that Titania is a paladin. And a paladin is a promoted class. and it is actually promoted from Oscar's class, which is the Cavalier or Social Knight. I think they call it Social... No, they call it Lance Knight in this game. The Radiance games took the Cavalier class from the previous games and future games, which would normally be horsemen who wield swords and lances, and it split it up into 3 different classes. They split it up into 2 classes and added a 3rd one for consistency's sake. Oscar's a lance knight. Basically what this means is that he is a horseman who can only wield lances. I'm not sure if that makes him any more defensive, but it certainly is nice against swordsmen. It doesn't make him as versatile as the Cavaliers, though, but it does make him very nice against swordsmen. Titania is a paladin. I'm showing off trading items here because Titania got a steel sword from that house. She is a paladin who came from an axe knight, which is like a lance knight except they wield axes. And when the knight, and there's also a sword knight who is basically like them, only wields swords. And when they promote, they become simply called a paladin. They all become paladins. There's no special designation for some reason. And when they promote, you have the option of picking one of the other 2 weapon types that they did not start out with. And I believe Titania has a default A usage of axes, and I think a default C with lances. So she was an axe knight who promoted and started using lances afterwards. Weapon skill. Basically, all it is that it determines what weapons you can or can't use. Generally, stronger weapons require higher weapon skill, and you build up weapon skill by using a weapon type over and over again. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. And you might be wondering why I don't just use Titania to blow away everybody. She's promoted, her stats are way higher than everyone else. You're going to see that very quickly once I clear out the boss of this area, that she kills them in one battle. You might be wondering, why don't I just use Titania the whole time? Well, here's the thing. Titania is a pre-promoted unit. Basically what that means is that the game hands her to you with her being already promoted. Usually these characters are they start off being very powerful early on, but once you start leveling up your other characters, you notice very quickly that those pre-promoted units are not very good. They're pretty poor, in all honesty, as far as the stats go. And so yeah, so I'm trying not to use her very much here, because she's going to become very outdated very quickly. And you see that we've seen swords, lances, and axes, and you might be wondering, are there any other weapons in this game? Because you've never played a Fire Emblem game or even seen one before. Well, yes, there is bows, which do not count as part of the weapon triangle yet. They are completely independent. So depending on what weapons your enemy is using and what you have, they can be helpful in that sense, as they're not affected by weapon choice. And then there's magic, and magic has its own separate triangle. So it'll never be, or at least in this game, it's its own separate thing. So don't worry about that. I was considering using Ike here to take this guy out, but because of the swordsman standing next to him, and also that was a 48% hit chance, it was almost 50-50. It would have been almost heads or tails, like a coin flip, as to whether or not Ike got hit. And I didn't really like that chance. So I had Oscar kill the swordsman, and Titan is going to kill the boss, and you're going to see her get about 36 experience points, I believe. And that's how. And keep in mind, if I had used Oscar, Boyd, or Ike to kill this boss, they would have gotten a level up, no questions asked. But because I used the promoted class, she only gets a regular amount of experience points. And if you use a promoted unit to kill a non-promoted unit, you will get usually 1 or 2 experience points. It's very, very poor, very, very little. Which is why it's not a good idea to main them. And you might have noticed that when Ike was using the iron sword, it looked like one thing, and when he used the steel sword, the weapon model changed. That's because every weapon type in this game has a different model. Every single weapon has a different model. Iron axes look one way, steel axes look one way. It's a very, very detailed game. As far as concerned, this is just to show that when your objective is to seize something, only Ike can seize it. And yeah, this is the end of chapter 1. So we're coming up on the end of the video here. I'll be seeing you guys in chapter 2 next video, and possibly chapter 3. I haven't recorded the rest of it. Fire Emblem is best enjoyed in short bursts, is for Let's Play's sake. So I'll be recording this little bits at a time. If you guys want more videos of this, or just more videos in general, leave a comment saying what you want, and if you want the other videos to be complete Let's Plays, or just regular ordinary videos that are pretty much standalone. Okay, I'll see you guys then.